All right, David, just want to give you a quick overview of the Victron remote monitoring solution. So there's an app-based version as well as a desktop-based version. I'm going to show you the app right now. It's called Victron VRM. You'll see the little widget on the bottom of my phone screen, VRM. I'm just going to tap on there and open her up. This is currently my system, but I've got access to all of my client systems. So if I were to go across here, you'll see a tremendous number of systems that I've got access to, and I can keep an eye on everybody, make sure that every system is up and running and doing what it should do. But if I go back to mine, let's just have a look at the overview. So the first image that you're presented with is just a basic system pictograph. At the very top, you've got the PV inverter showing you how much I'm producing from solar right now, just under 2 kilowatts. Then to the left is the situation from grid. I'm currently drawing about 44 watts from the grid. The system is currently in a state of balance, so it's keeping that as close to zero as it can. On the far right-hand side is the AC loads. This is how much my house is consuming right now, so about just under 2.7 kilowatts. And then we have the battery in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm currently discharging at about 700 watts, so my battery is just below 100% state of charge. And this will change dynamically as the load of the house changes and as the solar production changes. If we then scroll down, we get a little pictogram showing where I live, as well as the weather today, temperature, as well as the sun condition. That's just information right now, but I do expect in time to come that we'll be able to use that information to actually control certain things. Right now, for instance, I do use battery state of charge to actually control when my pool heat pump comes in and out. So if my battery state of charge is above a certain level, it allows my pool heat pump to run, and when I drop below a certain level, I then deactivate the pool heat pump. Right now my pool heat pump is running. We can also see the historical data. So the first view that we have is the so-called system overview, and this is where we can see exactly what the battery has done over the last 7 days in this case, but I'm going to change the window. I can look at the last 24 hours or the last year or whatever I like. So let's look at the last week. The blue line shows the battery state of charge, the average state of charge over each day in question, and the range, the blue band, shows the maximum and minimum condition that the battery achieved at that time. The red columns are the total consumption of my home, and the yellow or the orange is the amount of solar that I produced on any one day. If I then go down, I get a summary of all of that. So over the last 7 days, I exported 11 kilowatt hours to the grid. I took 86 kilowatt hours from the grid. I produced 148, and I consumed 202. Just by way of background, my system has been a little bit odd because I've actually just replaced my solar panels. So I removed my PV array, I put new panels on, and I only commissioned half of them initially, followed by the second half. Normally I would be pretty much what we call grid neutral. In other words, the from grid amount would be very small, generally of the order of 5 or 6 kilowatt hours over a 7-day period. I would have exported a lot more to grid, and my production and consumption numbers would be quite similar. So just to show that we can change the period of time, so we've got some quick ranges as well as very specific time. If I want to really see in detail what's happened over the last few hours, I can zoom right in and see exactly what's been happening over the last couple of hours. In other words, my consumption, my solar production, and whether I've used battery or my battery state of charge. Or I can really zoom out again and have a look over an extended period of time. Let's say, for instance, the last month. We can have a look at that data. There you have it. You can see exactly what's been happening on a day-by-day basis over the last month. So that's the system overview. I can also have a look at my consumption profile. In other words, where has my power been coming from that I've been using in the house? And it will tell me in this graph, the yellow being the power that my house has consumed directly from solar, the blue is the power that the house has consumed from battery, and the red or pink is the power that the house has consumed from the grid. And as you can see in the middle over there is quite a big chunky grid portion. This is when my solar was effectively decommissioned, and I had very little solar capability. I just have a small number of panels working off microinverters. And then the little torus charts show you over the last day, 7 days, 30 days, and year, again, what your contribution to your household consumption has been from your various power sources. And there it is numerically as well on the blocks. And then the final chart is what we've actually been using our solar for. So if I select the solar widget, it will show me what the solar has been used for. The yellow being used directly by the house, and the blue charged to battery, and the pink exporting to grid. So that's how I've used my solar. If we want to, we can really get into a lot more detailed information, and I'm not going to take you through much of that, but just to show that we have in our installations the details. And I can go to, sorry, let's go back over there. It's looking at all of them, but I can go and literally see any detail regarding the info. So yeah, hopefully that gives you an indication of exactly what's available. This is updated in real time. If for any reason your system goes offline, we will get an alarm from the cloud portal to tell us that it hasn't received information for any period of time. But as soon as the system reconnects, it will upload. It will store it locally and it will upload that information. So we won't ever lose any data. It does save all of that, and we don't have holes in the history. So hopefully that's provided some overview and some insight into what the system can tell you.